Okay, how you doing, everyone? It is Bianca here with Bit About Black TV, coming to your feed. I'm gonna start doing these streams like this, recording and uploading, and I may go live sometime as well. But I ran across this video, I believe about a day or so ago, about a woman in Virginia, who was recorded brandishing her weapon on her pier, which is her private property. There was a man in a boat, that was, from what he was saying in the video, that he can fish um over there near her pier. And as the woman explained, she said that she has water rights. And at some point she goes into the house and comes back out. So I wanted to talk to you guys. I'm gonna let you watch the video here in a second, but then we're gonna talk afterwards, because the things that I found out about this woman, and I'm also going to show another video, compare it to another video, just kind of swapping the race, because this channel that I'm going to show you on TikTok just talks about anybody who is doing wrong, and I am a person who is, I don't care who it is, right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care who it is. And we have to start doing that. I know I have Build My Black TV, and I just know that I'm not going to pick sides just because of the color of my skin. I'm going to talk about what is right and what's wrong. Now, in my opinion, this thing could have went left really quick. But I still want to talk about this woman as we get into it. So let's go ahead and kind of watch the video. It's on TikTok. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And let me know what you think in the comments, of course.
This lady just pulled a gun on me. Lady is out here screaming at me with a gun. What's up? Why? It's not private property though. It's the high tide line, that's the private property. Yeah, no, you don't own the water. You don't. But you do understand, you guys own the dock. You guys own
the water.
You don't.
Yes, we do.
No, you don't.
I'm going to get my husband.
Can you hurry up? I fished these waters my whole life, man. It doesn't matter. It's the same as any other water, dude. You guys own. You're over here yelling at me. I'm gonna fish all these docks, but it doesn't matter. You know how many times I had the cops call? I'm telling you to call the cops. Do you want to use my phone to call the cops on me? Because I'm telling you right now. Listen, you guys are so entitled. You think that this dock right here is your private property. This water is not.
Go fish over there.
Okay.
Go fish 20 feet beyond that.
Okay.
But you don't belong here.
Okay. I'll get
Got
on.
it?
Yep.
Okay. So with that being shown, like, let me know, like, what you think about that, what you feel about it. Do you feel that the woman was out of place? Was she in the wrong? Do you feel that the fisherman could have approached it a different way? I did some digging. I'm studying for my LSAT. Yay, my third passion in life. So I like the legal stuff, especially civil law, and business law, of course. And I was digging, researching and digging around, and I was looking at the water rights, because she mentioned the water rights. Now, I do know, with studying, a little bit of real estate as well, is that Virginia does have water rights, but it is called something different. And I'm gonna share my screen with you again here so we can see this law firm that apparently is a very good law firm. And I just found him, Waterfront Law, that is looks like in Virginia. So I went digging and I found this. I'm gonna share some stuff with you guys on this. This is a whole deal. Like, there's a lot going on here in this entire scenario that you would not believe. But let's get into it. So, ownership rights, the right to access the water, right of access to the water in Virginia is called riparian property rights. Okay, it protects the waterfront property owner's ability to operate a boat at the property by providing him or her a right of access to the water. This specifically includes a right of way to and from the navigable part of the waterway, having access from the shore to the line of navigation, right, is an important part of riparian rights. And I want to repeat that. Having access from the shore to the line of navigation is an important part of riparian rights. So this talks about the right to build a pier or dock out to the navigable part of the water. Now, I do know when I was learning, still am, I'm a jack of all trades. Thank God for creating me this way. But you have severed rights, and I don't know what the case may have been when she brought her property, but sometimes even though you have a pier or you have a part of the water in cities and states, you can own different parts of the water, right? And the pier may or may that you see that's associated with this real estate property may not be able to be bought because there's also separate titles on a pier being, aligned with the property. It may have a different title. Some title companies have piers that are on another title besides the land and home, so that's something to think about. I'm not sure if that was her case, but that is just something to think about. So there is a thing in here that talks about like the right for the size of your property to expand through a natural process known as accretion. Um, so I don't want to go too much into that, but I did read, he talks about the advantages, right? But at the same time, under Virginia law, it says the rights, riparian rights, property rights, the right to enjoy the natural advantages conferred upon the land by its adjacency to the water, the right of access to the water, the right to build a pier out to the navigable part of the water, the right for the size of your property to expand through a natural process called accretion, the right to make a reasonable use of the water as it flows past or washes up on the land. Another key piece to remember in Virginia is that riparian rights can be withheld by a private owner. And that's what I just talked about, right? He did mention in here um some parts of this piece here that's important. Riparian right property rights, or simple riparian rights, is a legal system that allocates the right to use water and bottom land among waterfront property owners. This impacts you. Many of you are a person who has a pier. If you do not own waterfront property, then you probably do not have riparian property rights. If you are a waterfront property owner, you probably pay anywhere from 25% to 45% extra to acquire your waterfront property. He has some studies here. This law firm has some studies here, and just saying you could have saved more money. But I mean, the water is nice. I mean, that water is like runs between the Elizabeth River and the James River, as well, where this woman was in Newport News. So, and this is the piece I was talking about too. Can riparian rights be withheld? An owner of waterfront property normally owns riparian property rights, except where the riparian rights were withheld by a prior owner, as documented in the change of title for the property. That's what I was talking about earlier. So I know he talks about a lot about the benefits of owning, having riparian rights and owning waterfront property. But the other piece is the right. So you hear the lady talk about the water rights. Riparian property rights may or may not include ownership of the bottom land. The bottom land is the land submerged under the water. That should be like, we should know that, right? This depends on factors such as whether the waterfront property is located on a lake or pond or opposed to a creek, river, bay, or seashore. Other factors come into play also, one of them being whether the body of water is navigable. right? Or whether the bottom land was conveyed into private ownership by the British Crown in the time prior to the American Revolution under a so-called King's Grant, or whether the bottom land was conveyed into private ownership at some point after the American Revolution. So this is a complex area of the law, but we try to break it down for you. He says we go over the topic in general terms here. Bottom land ownership for waterfront property. Now, I mention this because even if you have and I just did my research, I'm just going to tell you about it. So even if you have waterfront property, right? You have waterfront property, great. But at the same time, you also have a pier, right? Now, people who fish, the pier is yours, and up to a certain point, the shoreline in the state of Virginia, not all states, you own those water rights to a certain extent. The rest of the ocean is public property. It's public, not public property. It is public. That means a person can go and fish if they want to. Now, I did hear her say you can go fish 20 feet beyond the area that she was referring to. I don't know if it was the pier or a part of the water that she was referring to. Now, what that means, I don't know, right? But I did have a chance to look her up because a lot of people made a lot of bad comments about her. Now, I don't agree because in the state of Virginia, Virginia does not have a stand your ground law, okay? At all. Okay, and the laws in Virginia is very strict when it comes to brandishing a firearm in Virginia. Now, even though Virginia doesn't have like the stand your ground law, it is super important to understand very, very, very serious that you can get in real trouble in the Commonwealth of Virginia for brandishing a weapon because they don't have the stand your ground law, right? At all. So if they don't have the stand your ground law, then if you pull out your weapon, then you have to say, well, I was in fear for my life, and there is a fearful force that's coming my way that would have caused my life or really bodily harm, like in a nutshell. So I went on this another law firm. I like looking at law firms because I'm going to have one. Yes. Okay. Okay. Brandishing your firearm. Virginia Code. Blah blah blah. Prohibits any person from pointing, holding, or brandishing any firearm or any air or gas operated weapon or any object similar in appearance. The offense is generally known as brandishing a firearm. This is really serious. The violation of this code is a class 1 misdemeanor, which carries a maximum punishment of up to 1 year in jail and a $2,500 fine. So you have to think about the reasoning of why someone will brandish a firearm. So the Commonwealth must prove the following elements in order for a person to be convicted of brandishing a weapon. Number 1, the defendant pointed, held, or brandished any firearm or any air or gas operated weapon or any object similar in appearance, whether capable of being fired or not, in such a manner as to reasonably induce fear in the mind of another, or held a firearm or any air or gas operated weapon in a public place in such a manner as to reasonably induce fear in the mind of another of being shot or injured. In other words, according to his law firm, pointing or brandishing a firearm and doing so in such a manner as to reasonably induce fear in the mind of a victim is it's basically like it's not allowed. You shouldn't be doing that. If the weapon is pointed or brandishing at more than one person, each person is placed in apprehension of injury. The defendant may be charged with separate counts for each person. Like, it's serious in the Commonwealth, y'all. You don't want to play around in the Commonwealth. Okay, defense of property. not allowed in the defense of personal property. This is why I mention this, because she's on her and her husband, I believe, or whoever that person was, are on their personal property. The general rule in Virginia is that using deadly force is not lawful when used solely in the defense of personal property. This general rule applies in the context of a brandishing case where, although the actual use of deadly force has not been committed, the threat of the deadly force has. So, meaning, even though she didn't fire her weapon, it's the threat of the possible deadly force that you can be also convicted for. Threatening the use of a firearm, as in the context of a brandishing case, is not lawful when done solely in defense of personal property. Now, I get it. I completely get it, right? But at the same time, and I know my culture, we have seen so many things on the opposite side. Trust me, I understand. But sometimes we have to think before we act. It's not always easy to do. I get it. And here's another example. For an instance, a property owner displaying a shotgun to unarmed cable installers in an effort to expel them from his property is likely not proportional to any perceived harm, even where the installers were on the property illegally. So, when brandishing a firearm in response to a perceived threat, the brandishing must be reasonable in relation to the perceived threats. So, listen to this again. When brandishing a firearm, and I talked about this earlier, when brandishing a firearm in response to a perceived threat, the brandishing must be reasonable in relation to the perceived threat. So that means if you pull out your weapon in the state of Virginia, the threat has to be reasonable, right? In relation to that perceived threat. That means they would have to have theirs too, or something similar in the state of Virginia. And they talk about self-defense here. There's so many things. Virginia's brandishing code specifically states that this section shall not apply to any person engaged in excusable or justifiable self-defense. Therefore, if you are defending yourself or a third party in a lawful manner, Virginia's self-defense laws will provide defense to your actions. Reasonable believes he is in imminent danger of an overt act. I like that word because I always listen to cases when they talk about overt. Threatening unlawful force, serious bodily harm or death, and uses the amount of force reasonable in relation to the harm threatened. That last line, even though you have possibly self-defense, Virginia is very strict on saying that the threat on the other side has to be reasonable for you to brandish your weapon. And sometimes it's like, I know you got to be thinking like me, like, okay, well, what if there's a knife? Somebody could throw a knife at me, right? But then a defense lawyer could probably say, well, it's a knife. We don't know if the knife was going to aim directly at you. How distance of the person they were away from you. So those things, right? I mean, think about a bow and arrow. But a weapon, like a gun, that's different, right? Let me know in the comments if you think that brandishing her weapon was ideal in this case. Do you think that she felt threatened? You know, she possibly could feel threatened. And I'm sure she's been there for a long time. And I don't know if this has happened before. I haven't talked to her, had an interview with her, but if someone's coming up to your pier, and I know in the video, he starts a little bit away from the pier, but then he moves towards like a little bit the rocks, not so far to the rocks, but that's a little bit close. And to me, that part is where you draw the line, you know, and that part near her shore, that should be hands off. Now, in my opinion, they both could have handled the situation a little bit better. I do not like the way they talk to each other. He says he can fish up and down these areas. Okay, whatever. But I just feel like if that is true, then they could have handled it a different way. And I'm gonna show you another video of a different race swapping races, and this is from the same account on TikTok, swapping races, and they don't have a weapon. But the way the person talks to the other person is completely out of line. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is, who is this woman? So there's another what is the name? I'm gonna put in the comments the name of the Instagram account that I saw that had the horrible comments. And they were just so horrible to her. And I understand why, but sometimes we just have to, racism, we don't need to be talking about that. But I understand, but we still don't need to be talking about it, right? So this next section, they I didn't know who the lady was. They also posted that she was an author. They found her book because they went searching for her, I guess. I don't know how they found out who she was, but I mean, it's Google. I mean, I do know, but why would you? Why would you want to do that? They did it on purpose. So they went and found her. They posted her information on their Instagram account that she's an author. That gives the public information on who this woman is. This is the part where I feel like sometimes we take it too far because we're in different times now and people can be very harmful to each other. So they found out who she was, which probably on their part, they were probably doing it to talk about her brandishing her weapon, or some of the comments were racist on both sides. But at the end of the day, you guys can handle it a little bit different too. If these people are having a dispute, that doesn't mean you in the comments need to be racist against who she was or who she is. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. And the other things that they've done, and I mentioned here, I don't like it either. It's not okay. And some of the things that they have done that I'm gonna share with you in a minute are violations with the FTC. So let's just talk about it. So, being that she's an author, I found her name from what they shared with her book. So here is who she is. And she is I'm sorry, I didn't share the screen. My bad. My bad. She is a phenomenal woman, in my opinion. From her track record here. Because in their video on Instagram, I'm put the name of the account on Instagram that shared that's the way I found it. That said she was an author, and they were like, "Oh, this is not so self-caring now, is it?" And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh." So, this is who she is, Fauna Woodard. She is a QMS lead, or was. I don't know. I think she still is. Aeronautical Information Services. I mean, that's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? Like 32 years and 3 months at Federal Aviation Administration, quality management, program analyst, quality manager, aeronautical information specialist. Now, I was an information specialist for city government for like a year or two. I'm a geek. If you don't know, you know now. I have a master's degree in computer science to tell you how I am, how my brain thinks. But yeah, so that's who she is. And then it also led me to her book. All because this happened. You just never know how things work out, right? Um, so she has a book, and she also has a website, and her book is also on Amazon. So I just wanted to share this with you. No, I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying, if you're going to put the information out there, Bianca's going to find out who she is, okay? Because y'all done put it out there. I wouldn't have never known if you didn't. Um, so she has a book on Amazon that's called Never Said a Word, The Cost of Silence and the Power of Truth. And it is a hardcover. I thought I had a picture on here before. Let me see if I have a picture that I can place on here, because I want y'all to see the picture of this book. Yeah, here it is. So, Never Said a Word. I'm going to share this tab instead. So, here is a picture of like the book. And this is also on Barnes and Noble. Never Said a Word, The Cost of Silence and the Power of Truth. I'm going to read you the description of this book because it ties into what happened. Parts of it anyway. So I looked on Amazon, and again, I only found this out because the people on the account on Instagram shared it. You know, I don't know if someone told them who she was, or they just found out by Google search the address or however they did it. So she has a 1 star, right, on Amazon. I was like, 1 star. Never said a word, The Cost of Silence and the Power of Truth. So this book is about Fonda Woodward recounts a childhood shaped by abandonment, colorism, and abuse memories. She has only found the strength to share after turning 60. So when I think about this person who's writing that and what just happened, right or wrong, her mindset may have been based on her experiences, right? We always hear about people who have mental health issues, just like the man recently in Atlanta's airport. They said he had mental health issues, and thank God that someone called the police, a family member, I believe, to tell the police about that, because they probably would have never known that somebody was in there, said they were going to do harm in the Atlanta airport. They also said that person had mental issues. They got arrested, right? I'm sure they got charged a lot. But I'm not balancing anything. I'm just making aware of who this person is. I don't know who that fisherman is. And my thing is, how come y'all didn't post that? Who's a fisherman? If you, and this is a piece where I believe, in my opinion, they both were in the wrong. In the wrong meaning he could have handled that a little bit better. In the wrong that brandishing a weapon for something like that, in my opinion, was a no. Because you can get in trouble in Virginia for that. Now if she felt it was a threat, then even so, according to Virginia, I'm not a lawyer yet, but that was still not enough for self-defense, right? Now, I don't know what was said or done beforehand. We only have that part of the video when he started recording. So this is her book, right? You can go on Amazon.com. Please do not leave any horrible messages, because reviews are for people who have purchased things. And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this, because it's going to either break you or make you or fine you a lot of money. So she talks about that. And I think this is a powerful book. I'll probably buy it, but I just want it to be known that this information was given out by the people who were talking about her. And here we are. She says, sharing her story became an act of healing and a call to action. With raw honesty and unflinching courage, Never Said a Word is not just a memoir, but an urgent plea for others to break the silence and cycle of secrecy, speak their truth, and reclaim their power before it's too late. So I went down to the reviews, right? And I was like, oh, dang, her book must not be good because she got reviews a 1 star. Well, look what happened when I went to the reviews. Let's see here. Amanda Walker. What date is this? October 21st, 2025. This is the day from I think this is the day that it actually was posted on that Instagram's page. This review specifically are for people who makes purchases. So, Amanda Walker, did you receive the paperback book? Never Said a Word from Fonda Woodward. Did you receive that? Probably not. This is her review post. This woman knows so much about healing from trauma. She's being summoned for pulling a gun on a man for fishing around her pier in Hampton, Virginia. George Cuffey. Reviewed in the United States on October 21st, 2025. Format, hardcover. Horrible book. Did you, George, receive a hard copy from Fonda Woodward for Never Said a Word? Did you receive that prior to October 21st, 2025? I'm saying this for a reason. I'm not being funny. I'm saying this for a reason. Your reviews are on public information. It is what it is. Maybe take your review down. Valerie Burt, reviewed in the United States on October 23rd, 2025. Format that they receive is what they're saying, right? It's hardcover. I want my money back. 6 people found this helpful, 8 people found this helpful, and 15 people found this helpful. So let me get into the part of Amazon's community guidelines. Since you guys want to play so much, I get what she may have been done was wrong, but that does not give you the right to make reviews falsely for someone's business to make money off of it. Let's see what Amazon has to say about it. I hope you're ready for it. Let's start with this one. Let's do this tab first, because this was like last year. But listen, Amazon and Google locked in for fake reviews. So let's talk about it. Amazon has zero tolerance for fake reviews. We have robust and long-standing policies that prohibit review abuse and suspend, ban, and take legal action against those who violate these policies. Fake reviews are a global problem impacting reviews across multiple industries, and we support collaboration across the private and public sector to help stop this issue. Whether it is a business or whether it is a person who's posting those reviews or being paid reviews, it is wrong. Anti-manipulation policy for customer reviews. You can read that on your own. But here's what I want you to pay attention to when it comes to Amazon manipulation policy for customer reviews. Customers trust that they can shop with confidence on Amazon. Reviews provide a forum for sharing authentic feedback about products and services, positive or negative. Any attempt to manipulate reviews, including by directly or indirectly contributing false, misleading, or inauthentic content, is strictly prohibited. We take the integrity of our customers very seriously. If we determine that you have attempted to manipulate reviews or violate the applicable contractual provisions, our guidelines, or our policies in any other manner, we may immediately suspend or terminate your Amazon privileges, remove reviews, and delist related products. In addition, if we determine that an Amazon account has been used to engage in review manipulation, remittances and payments may be withheld or forfeited. Also, this is important, misconduct may violate state and federal laws, including the FTC Act, the Federal Trade Commission Act, and can lead to legal action and civil and criminal penalties. So let's go back to these reviews real quick, because I just want to make sure you understand the importance of what you're doing and the importance of when, just like some people may say her brandishing a weapon is wrong, acting out before thinking. Well, this is under the same lines, okay? They're all under the same lines. You have to think before y'all start doing stuff. Let's go back to Amazon anti-manipulation policy. We pursue lawsuits for reviews, manipulations against dishonest sellers and manufacturers who attempt to purchase fraudulent reviews and the parties who provide and post those reviews. These lawsuits have produced monetary judgment exceeding the annual growth for such sellers, and data shown allowing us to take additional enforcement action against others. We encourage anyone who suspects that review manipulation is taking place or that our guidelines are being violated in any other manner to notify us. We will investigate the concern thoroughly and take the appropriate actions. So pretty much stop playing around. And I'm going to read you what the FTC had as well. They ruled in August of 2024, fake or false consumer reviews. The final rule addresses reviews and testimonials that misrepresent, that they are by someone who does not exist. This is for AI generated fake reviews, or who did not have actual experience with the business or its products or services. That's important, because I just want to know that these people have experience buying her product because you're affecting her business and her reputation as an author. So, with that said, let me know what you guys think about that. I want to show this other video here. This is kind of on a flip side of things. I'm not going to show all of the video, but you can go and watch this content creator on TikTok. It's review TRUYEN88. That's the account that I saw this on TikTok. I'm going to put in the comments the account that I saw on Instagram where I first saw this. And then I went to look on TikTok to see if TikTok had it because I couldn't find it anywhere else. But this other video here, I wanted to show you kind of how like the difference is between the two, and how one person kind of did not the same thing, but everyone is wrong in this. I mean, this main person here that's talking is definitely wrong. The man who's standing on the pier is definitely wrong. But I do like the way the person in the red is handling it. So let me let you guys watch this video. And this is on the same account that we just watched the other video on. So let's get it.
I don't hate all blacks, just the ones like you.
Trying to help and we had sound. My man.
Can't read signs?
No, sir.
Let's go.
You know, I'm a
Hey, man. How you doing?
Don't give me hey, man.
Straight with no
That's a private
chaser.
club. All we doing is trying to get big. I hope that's what got stuck. Like, cut that shit out, bro. It's too much life out here, dog. Stay from a distance. Say, hey, get off the pier, call the police, let the police do the work. Keep your away from people, bro, with that attitude. Got it. Problem?
Here you think the other guy's racist or whichever. He's not racist.
No, I don't
He's
think-
bad at casting or whichever. Don't fish it.
Man, sir, you can look
You
me
know,
up. I'm way
just
bad
saying,
at
you've been
casting.
here. Not all blacks are the same.
Bring it out.
But there's some of them.
Bring it out.
Start packing, bud.
Start what? You said start packing?
Start backing.
Packing it up.
I ain't worried about you at all.
I'm not worried about you neither.
All right, then.
Hey, boy. Listen to this boy.
You heard what I'm saying, boy? That boy raised. I'm telling y'all, bro.
I didn't call him a boy. There's no reason to call him one. I don't hate all blacks, just the ones like you.
Shit,
But
I
these
bet you
other
do.
two,
So yeah, let me know what you all think about that. So much going on. It's a lot. Let me know what you think about the woman, Miss Fonda, I'm sorry, Woodard, I'm sorry if I pronounced her name so wrong. Fonda Woodard, who's the author of Never Say a Word. It's out on Amazon. I hope those people, y'all have your reviews on there on Amazon. I hope you take them down. Because, I mean, I get you may be upset or whatever the case may be, but attacking someone's business with fake reviews can be costly. So yeah, especially if it's reported. So yeah, anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about this case. What you would have done differently. Do you feel that Virginia should change their laws to stand your ground law? Let me know. Bianca, Bit of My Black TV signing off. I'll talk to you soon.